There's only one way to start this, Sam. Hands, touching hands.
Oh!
Reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Karrion News. We're in the studio together. That's how you start a news video. Here are your headlines. We have a pretty major update on the future of one Daniel Bryan. We have the reason behind Karrion Kross. He's Karrion Kross's shocking defeat on Monday Night Raw last night. And we have details regarding the big return of Wabadoo John Cena at Money in the Bank 2021. First and foremost then, conspicuous by his absence since he was turned into, Sam, a wrestling meaty sandwich, along with Edge by Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 36 Night 2. Night 1, by the way, was 100 days ago today. Time is flying. It needs to slow down, but we have an update on Daniel Bryan, who of course hasn't appeared since Night 2 of WrestleMania 36. Internally, PW Insider are reporting there has been no discussion of Bryan returning to WWE, and he is not listed on the company's roster. There have been some in the company who have taken that to mean that Bryan is signing or will eventually sign with AEW, but crucially, PW Insider have not been able to confirm that is correct, but what they have been able to confirm is...
Well, Daniel Bryan is not part of a recent list of talent who have, they've got plans for licensing agreements and merchandising agreements for 2021 to 2022. And this was recently put together by the company for internal use, so it's not like it's a big public-facing thing and they wouldn't include him, to keep him a surprise. And on top of that, he's also not slated for any future Mattel action figure releases. So
I have no idea what any of this could mean. It could be we saw a big thing with Brock Lesnar's merchandising and all that sort of stuff. People going, oh my God, he's never coming back to WWE. And now we find ourselves here in July 2021 and the rumour and conjecture and innuendo and all that kind of saucy bollocks is that Brock Lesnar is coming back. So what we can deduce from all of this is nothing, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, it could be seen as like like maybe he's having a year off or so. It could be more like interpreted as kind of like if you're still on the fence about coming back, then you're not going to make any money off merch. Or it could be just, the first theory there, which is that he's leaving and going elsewhere. But ultimately, if Daniel Bryan rocks up next month, I don't think I'd be surprised. I'd be shocked, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Jim Ross said as much at the start of SmackDown 2. Know your role. But what we do know, Sam, is that Daniel Bryan still can go, and whoever gets Daniel Bryan is getting one of, if not the best professional wrestlers to have ever lived.
Genuinely.
So there we go. News story 1, ticked, it's done. News story 2 is about Kross. He's Karrion Kross, who appeared on last night's Monday Night Raw, making his big Raw main roster debut. We don't count main event here to be the main roster. His big Raw debut took place last night, and after a pretty short match, where he didn't get too much offense in, he was beaten by Jeff Hardy. A Jeff Hardy who has been missing, just lost in no man's land, is what I'm trying to say, on the main roster. He's lost to the likes of John Morrison. He's lost to Elias this year. He's been doing nothing. Then all of a sudden last night, with fans coming back, he gets his No More Words theme back. And apparently that shoots all of his rating bar thingies in the games up to 100. And he beats the reigning NXT champion, Sam, who has been undefeated on television for about a year and a half.
Yeah, it's quite the misdemeanor booking-wise to have done this, I think, in the eyes of 99.9% of the audience. It just makes little sense. You've got such a strong character, you've built him and built him and built him, and yes, the main roster, it's the land of, different opportunities compared to NXT, but at the same time, I think I said this to you over the other week in a news video, I was like, you're the same company. It's not as if you don't have the WWE logo all over the NXT rings. Like, you can bridge that stuff, but then again, I know you can't bring him in and have him beat everybody and immediately take the belt, because what's the point in that? But you could surely save that first big loss for something special.
Oh, definitely. If you're writing on a bit of paper, as we're sat here 24 hours ago, Jeff Hardy versus Karrion Kross, NXT champion, undefeated for a year and a half. You're picking Karrion Kross to win. But if we didn't need this confirming already, we've had it confirmed. Sean Ross Sapp has had it confirmed to him via text message from somebody, an NXT source is what he's citing here. It felt like the message which Karrion Kross losing to Jeff Hardy was a message from Vince McMahon to everybody around the world that he does not care about NXT whatsoever.
I mean, it's I understand why people will feel that way, and so I think that, people are well within their rights to feel that way with everything that NXT does and the audience it helps build and the approach it's fostered to, bringing in newer talents. Some of them, big deals on the indie scene and in other companies, but some of them just completely through their own system. NXT, I don't know why they've got to be at odds, Ross. Why can't they all just get along? I don't like fighting.
What's Triple H done? What's Triple H done to Vince McMahon? Do you reckon he had the last tatey at Sunday dinner? You've done that? I destroy NXT.
I only eat one potato a year.
Whatever's going on, it is weird. The disconnect between NXT and the main roster. It's been happening for years, but when you see something like that, it just gets weirder than it already has been doing. And while we're here as well, people who were listening to what was being said on Monday Night Raw last night might have heard, beg my pardon, Charlotte Flair being referred to as an 11-time champion, which would mean her NXT Championship reign from last year where, she beat Rhea Ripley, heartbreakingly so at WrestleMania 36. That has been taken away and wiped from the record books.
If this is legitimately beef between NXT and main roster WWE at like a management level, it's just cutting your nose off to spite your face. What do you gain from going, this is less than this?
What is the point in NXT now?
Well, they spent so much money going, it's not developmental, it's the third brand, and now it's developmental.
I think I might have said WrestleMania 36 earlier on when I meant WrestleMania 37. Did I say that?
I don't know.
Just in case the comments call me bad names.
We've not done this in a long time, if you can't tell. We're probably like the 40th minute of this video.
I've got really used to having the words like there and the Zoom call there, so you can just read the sort of script as you're going. This is a completely different skill set. What we need is an autocue here, but we have Karrion Kross News More. We have Karrion Kross News More. Early on, we're professional here. Karrion Kross News More. Dave Meltzer has been speaking about Scarlett Bordeaux, who of course was not a part of the Karrion Kross package, as she has been since he debuted in every single thing. I don't understand it. She sings the theme tune, for goodness sake, Sam.
Not in the main roster, she doesn't, apparently.
And of course, she's a very, sort of eerie presence at ringside. She adds a lot to Karrion Kross's...
So much mystique to that whole package.
He's just a man with tattoos otherwise.
Yeah.
We all need a Scarlett Bordeaux, that's what we know. But apparently Dave Meltzer is saying that Scarlett not being there was absolutely 100% taken away from Karrion Kross, and that's a Vince McMahon call.
You can bring them back together maybe later. You don't have to pretend they don't know each other and repackage everybody and change it all up. But at the same time, again, I wouldn't be shocked if in a month's time they both are involved in the same match on two different sides and they just pretend they don't know each other. And it's going to be like... Aha!
Meltzer's continued here saying that for whatever reason, it's believed that Kross would be a better act without her. And I think it's already been proven between the main event appearance and the Raw appearance. That's definitely 100% not true at all.
Yeah.
You need Scarlett with Karrion Kross. That is 100% confirmed. Now we have news about Jonathan Cena, Wabadoo, who made his return at Money in the Bank 2021, Sam. I'm going to pass over to you to read some news from PW Insider.
Absolutely. So PW Insider are reporting that WWE kept John Cena's name off of all of the run sheets at Money in the Bank in order to protect the surprise as a whole. Apparently only a small circle of people were informed that Cena would actually be there, presumably Vince, Roman, Heyman, everybody immediately involved with the situation. But it's still unknown as to whether Michael Cole and Pat McAfee knew.
Well, I have a development on that thing there, because I don't know if Pat McAfee was telling the truth, but he did his daytime radio thingy, his Pat McAfee show, and Maggle Cole was on there because, of course, they've struck up one hell of a relationship on WWE TV.
It's been great,
the way the heel babyface dynamic has just been pushed to one side in favour of two pals having a ball watching professional wrestling has added so much to WWE's programming on SmackDown especially. But Pat was on there with Maggle Cole saying the build-up to John Cena being there last night, Pat was saying he didn't know. He heard rumours that a big name was going to be there, or a big man was going to be there. He didn't know where to take that, as if it was a big name like Brock Lesnar, like John Cena, or a big name like it could have been CM Punk, or a big man like it could have been Brock Lesnar or John Cena. He didn't know. So he didn't know, unless, of course, he was telling lies on that show.
You go back and you hear people like JR saying it, though, all the time. It's like, don't spoil the surprises for the commentary. Sometimes commentary does prefer to get the actual natural reaction. It'll be like, well, here's all the results, here's everything you need to get across, but if there's any big surprises, then you get that organic, like, oh my God, like the really, really good reaction. So I could see both ways here, really.
Natural reactions are the best, that's what I'm finding out. Now we have news. Remember Rob Gronkowski?
Little bit, yeah, from his days in the old NFL and making Vince jump off a
He's that man who used to play the American football. Well, he still does play the American footballs. Well, he had a period of time off. He came to the wrestling. He humped a ring post.
He was wanting some big money, I'd imagine. There, he's come to wrestling for a bit, and then he's just went off and back to the football.
Well, he made love to the ring post on SmackDown that time. He jumped off the plinth like Vince McMahon did that time, and there was also plans apparently that we've heard from Fightful. He was going to face Mojo Rawley down the line there, Sam, wasn't he?
So Rob Gronkowski's WWE run was apparently cut short when he decided to return, back to the NFL, as we just said. But apparently, WWE sources have told Fightful that Gronkowski's run was supposed to lead to a match at SummerSlam 2020 with Mojo. And the line of thinking was going to be that Gronkowski would be a huge draw in Boston because obviously he was such an integral part of the New England Patriots for such a long time. There is an organic home crowd there. But we've been told by WWE sources, they said, that the door is open for a return, but the WWE wouldn't be surprised if the angle or a future relationship with Gronkowski just kind of doesn't get seen through.
Now, this is interesting, this one, because I reckon Rob Gronkowski could be an all-time heel in professional wrestling. Because I don't know about you, but at WrestleMania 36, I couldn't stand him.
No, well, this is the thing. It's always quite strange when you have somebody primarily from the athletic sphere come into wrestling, because it's you've got a clash of two worlds there. You've got like real sports, and then you've got sports entertainment just mushing into one. And if it's not handled carefully enough, it doesn't quite pan out. And I think Gronk could have been so much more. But ultimately, I just don't think the timing was right. I think everything, the way it was going on, the way the world was just changing day by day, it wouldn't surprise me if he's just kind of swept under the rug, and maybe they'll bring him back for a guest host one night, and it'll be like, haha, remember when I did? Remember that?
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Rob Gronkowski to come back to professional wrestling, but unfortunately, no Mojo from there anymore.
I know.
He's lost his mojo.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's horrible. Hey, but there we go. That was a messy first news video back for 80.
But we're back! We're back! We're in a studio, we can touch each other.
84 years it's been since the last time me and Sam sat here doing a news video, and what you can bloody tell, can't you? That's all I can say. Thank you for putting up with us getting our ring rust. It'll get better, honestly. Ring rust is a thing, even when you're doing news videos on YouTube about professional wrestling. He's been Sam, I've been Ross. We'll see you soon.